Creating content for the sake of creating content will not get you the leads or conversions you want. You have to be strategic. And this is Luke Nesler's area of expertise. In this episode, Luke will teach you how to create authority, gain attention online, and create content that actually converts. Luke Nesler is the CEO of Impact Media and the host of the nationally known podcast, Attention Equals Dollars. Nesler is a digital marketing expert, keynote speaker, author, and master of getting attention and turning it into cash. He's a marketing change agent and has worked with brands like Major League Baseball, NBC Sports, and Nissan Corporation to help them leverage social media to generate millions of dollars of sales. Luke was $30,000 in debt, sleeping on the office floor, and in threat of losing his business in 2012. When he realized that his problem was not having the attention of the marketplace, Luke took to social media and discovered the impact that it had on his business. In just 12 months, Nesler took his business from failing to thriving, using only social media to increase sales. Luke now runs a multi-million-dollar digital marketing agency. He travels the country teaching audiences how to use social media to gain attention and how they can turn that attention into revenue. Luke's marketing success stems from his philosophy, attention equals dollars. Attention is the lifeblood of your business. If you want to increase sales and grow your company, you've got to gain attention. Now, today's episode is sponsored by the Mayfair Hotel and Eve American Bistro, home of Amplified Soul Live 2019. My 3-day event guaranteed to help you stand out and bring your message to the masses. Luke is a guest speaker at Amplified Soul Live. Join us at the 3rd annual event in Los Angeles, February 22nd to the 24th, 2019. For info and tickets, head to rubyfremon.com/ASL. And finally, whether you're new to this podcast or a loyal listener, please make sure you take a moment to drop a rating and a review on iTunes. Now it is time to learn how you can benefit from Luke's philosophy, attention equals dollars. Welcome to Love Punch, where I'm challenging leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives to make a lasting impact. I'm your host, Ruby Fremont, and I'm here as a catalyst for you, the new generation of thought leaders. Join me each week as I dive into raw conversations with real impact makers. Hey, thought leaders, I am back. And I'm back with someone who has recently popped up in my life, but I feel like we've become business besties pretty fucking quick. Luke, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ruby. I'm pumped to be here. I completely agree. We're very much on the same page on a lot of different topics.
Yeah. So to everyone listening, Luke is the person you would see after doing the work you do with me. So I prime and prep you to get in front of the camera and to get your voice out there. And then Luke really helps you do that. So what's interesting is his personal story. And Luke, I'm just going to share a little bit of this because right now you run a multi-million-dollar digital marketing agency, but it wasn't always that way. And you really took your business from what you say failing to thriving using only social media to increase sales. So in a world where there's like an abundance of business coaches telling you to fucking build your email list and do this and that, you're saying, no, social media, this is a great way for you to create presence, create authority, and scale your business.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, email lists definitely work and they have their time and their place. But I think having the misconception that you don't have to post on Facebook and Facebook ads are dead and, you know, who really is going to buy a house from an Instagram, and all these misconceptions people have, it's complete ludicrous and it's BS. The bigger problem is there's so many guys and gals out there that are gurus that actually aren't experts at all, that are selling you their bullshit product. So then you have this negative connotation towards it because, well, you were being taught how to do something by somebody that's not an expert. We were almost bankrupt. I was sleeping on my office floor. I couldn't afford any type of advertising. The only thing I could afford and didn't know how to do was pick up my phone and figure out how to get attention on myself that way. That's what saved my business. And then we just got obsessed with it. And here we are today, and we're helping businesses as big as NBC Sports, as small as, John Smith, who just started his company and doesn't know what he's doing, have the same success.
That's incredible. And okay, so here's the thing, right? Because everyone listening is probably thinking to themselves, well, I'm on social media, I'm using social media, why isn't this happening for me? And in a world where social media has become the norm, right? Everyone who has a name basically has a Facebook account. It's the standard. But how do we really utilize these things to create that attention that we want for our brand, for our products, for our services, when it seems like every single other person with a business is doing the same thing?
Yeah, I think right now there's really, from what I've seen, there's two camps of individuals. There's the first camp, it's the person that is struggling to even put anything on social media because they're afraid of how they look, how they sound, what other people might think. They have to start somewhere completely different. Then there's another camp of individuals that want to be like you or be like the Grant Cardones, or maybe they see my content and they're like, hey, I need to be doing that. And they're putting stuff out consistently, but they're not turning any of that attention into revenue. So for camp number one, it's a matter of, you've got to understand that if nobody knows who you are, then you're never going to have a shot. And people are not going to discover you through newspaper, TV, and radio like they did before. They're going to discover you through where they're paying attention, what's on their phone.
Right.
Camp number two needs to understand the way to turn attention into revenue is to have a plan, have a process. And that plan needs to include targeted social media advertising. It's how you're going to grow your exposure, how you're going to get more people following you. And it's going to how you're take a perfect stranger to somebody that follows your content, to a raving fan, to somebody that says, Ruby, I need your help. I see your shit in my Instagram feed all the time. I go to my Instagram story, I go to my Facebook. You're talking to me. I need your help. That's going to happen through targeted social media ads. That's going to speed that process up.
Okay. So social media, using it and showing up every day, like say you do daily lives or daily videos, that's great. But if you want to take it a step further, it's like utilizing the actual ads, but having a really smart ad strategy. I'm going to add that in because I've tried to run my own ads and they have flopped miserably. But what I loved was how you talked about the targeted audience, because I think a lot of people don't think about this. They think about, I just want to get the numbers. It doesn't matter the quality of people they're bringing into their orbit. They just want the fucking numbers because, that sadly holds like this, that puts you in this state of like, I am now an influencer.
Right.
But I know so many people with large social media followings who are not making money.
Right. Yeah. So look, I mean, a following has benefit. Look, if you get 10,000 followers on Instagram, that's awesome for one reason. I can now use the swipe up feature in Instagram stories because I want to drive traffic to my site.
Right.
But the days of, hey, I got 12,000 or 112,000 followers on Facebook, that doesn't mean shit to your bottom line because the statistics are essentially 1% of your following is going to see what you post unless you're putting money behind it. It's a vanity metric, right?
Wow.
If you want to get booked on big podcasts, things like that, one of the things they do look at are how many followers do you have? Well, it doesn't matter how many followers I have. If I've got 1,000 followers that convert and you've got 200,000 followers and nobody's converting, I've got a better following than the other person. Right. So more so than just trying to buff and build your numbers, start using targeted advertising, video ads on Facebook, Instagram story ads, YouTube awareness ads. Use that to get your message out there so that more people can be exposed to you. And as a byproduct of that, your following will grow. We've worked with authors. I think somebody, actually the way I've discovered you, Matt Monero, right?
Yeah.
So we work with Matt Monero on his book, very successful guy, $175 million a year company. Everything he says is pure gold. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. That was the problem. And he had a book coming out. So what we did is we came in and we started to put out video ads, but essentially it was informational, inspirational, educational content that as a byproduct, his following grew, but from real people that wanted more of what Matt Monero was saying. And as a byproduct of that, he was able to then say, hey, look, my book is on sale. And more people started to go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and buy because he
Right.
tried to get attention and exposure, not just go buy 1,000 followers, if that makes sense.
Right. That makes total sense. And I'm actually getting a pretty big insight here, because what I hear a lot of from my clients is, and just the people that, my peers, is people get burnt out from social media, right? Because they feel like they're producing content every single day. And then they feel deflated because they're not getting the results. So
Right.
this is really about being strategic with everything that you're putting out there. What I'm hearing you say is be strategic with every single piece of content and ensure that every single piece of content has some sort of an intention, that intention being
100%.
your bottom line.
Yeah, people are way too afraid to say buy my thing
Right.
because they think that's all they're saying in the video. If you get on
Right.
there and whether you're selling a multi-level marketing product or coaching or physical therapy, whatever, if the only thing you're saying is, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, buy from me, well, that's a mistake. But if you get on there and you teach something and then at the end you drive a call to action, it's going to convert and it's going to land much higher, and it's completely acceptable because I've just given you value. Now, if I want to say, look, if you want more, go to this URL and I'm going to be able to help you way more there. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more for you here. People are going to convert because they look at you as an influencer. Their perception is this person can help me. Oh, okay, this is where I go to get that. The mistake is most people buy a fake following or they don't have a following at all. And all they say is, hey, do you need your website design? Go to my URL. Well, who are you, right? You've got to show them that you're an expert and you're authority, then drive that traffic.
Okay. And with that being said, so we kind of have control over that. We kind of have control over positioning ourselves as experts and as people with authority, right? Because we're in charge of our social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing I love the most that I think will change someone's business is, yes, you should be populating your Facebook page or Instagram page, but you should be creating content with the intention of delivering it to who matters most to you. So if I'm somebody that wants to work with, we do a lot of work with real estate professionals, right? Well, if I want to create a piece of content and deliver it to every single real estate agent in the country that is on Facebook, I can do that. So I need to create a piece of content speaking directly to you, the agent or the broker, and how you can use Instagram and Facebook to generate qualified leads and know that I can get it to however many agents I can afford to get it to with my Facebook spend. That's going to go so much further than just trying to buy likes and posting on your Facebook page and hoping the right person sees it. Create a piece of content and deliver it directly to that individual. Then there are several steps after that, but you've got to at least do step number one correctly.
Yeah. So really, again, like being super intentional and super specific with the content that you're creating. And I really believe that nowadays with the online entrepreneurial space, whether you're a coach, whether you're a course creator, whatever it is that you are, I feel like more people are showing up simply as quote unquote content creators versus like actually coaching or actually selling your products or actually doing the thing that you say you're doing. And this is because they're not actually closing that loop, right? They're not making the asks. They're not delivering targeted content, and they're not being intentional with what they're putting out there. And I admit, like in my first few years of business, I was doing the same thing. And then I realized, oh, okay, I've got to actually ask for what I fucking want. And I've got to be specific about what I'm fucking delivering, and speak to the audience that I really want to bring in, because otherwise your message gets totally diluted and totally lost.
I think that's the sales side of marketing, where most people are uncomfortable in a sales situation. But if you're not comfortable with the ask, whether it be, hey, go to my website, or hey, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, buy my product. Most people get uncomfortable with that in a face-to-face, in-person conversation. They're just as uncomfortable online. So it's a matter of what you do, right? It's a matter of maybe you're not taking them to your store. Maybe you're taking them to your webinar. So we have a webinar that it gets people into our process to where, look, if this brings them value, they're going to take the next most natural step. So my first ask isn't, hey, give me 10 grand a month and let me make
Right.
you 100 grand. Even though you're like, well, God, if you could make me 100 grand, I'd give you 10 grand every day. That's
Right.
still a big ask for people. So what we do is we get them in what we call a funnel. And that funnel starts with a webinar. And if you sign up for that webinar, we got the first commitment. If you watch that webinar, go to the end and you buy the smaller dollar product, you got the next commitment, and then it just progresses. But regardless, you've got to be comfortable with some type of an ask, or you're going to be doing, I made the same mistake you just said you made.
Mm-hmm.
I just pumped out free content. I was like, man, people will come to me because they think I'm the expert. They thought I was the expert, but they weren't coming because I wasn't saying, look, I can help you. We need to do
Right.
this, and you
Yeah.
need to take action.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you said that, because so much of that, everything about that has to do with your confidence and what you have to offer. And your confidence in what you have to offer, that energy leaks into your actual offer. So if you're not confident about what you have to offer, then of course you're not going to make the ask, because you're going to feel super
100%.
fucking uncomfortable around it. So
Right.
first,
Yeah.
you've got to get comfortable, not even like get super fucking confident with what it is that you're offering, and then just start sharing it. I know that just from my own personal experience and those around me, the fear is a lot of like, oh, I'm going to lose followers if I make my ask, or, oh, people aren't going to like this and they're going to stop following. It's like, why the fuck do you want those people on your email list or on your social media
Oh,
following
I love
anyway?
that. So I want that to happen. I want that to happen. If I'm when I'm doing a live stream, whether it's for a local event that I'm hosting, or I want you to buy a course, or if I'm doing a live stream and I start pitching and driving a call to action and I see that number, maybe there's only 15 people on the live stream, maybe there's 100, whatever. If I see that number start to drop, I get excited about it because I know that I'm losing the people that aren't going to be qualified or quality. If there's one person on this live stream that's going to buy,
Mm-hmm.
I want all the others to go away anyways. I'm just talking to that one person in the room. So many people get afraid because they're afraid of what others think. They're
Right.
afraid of upsetting or offending. If like you said, if you believe in your product, you cannot be afraid to ask somebody. I mean, I call somebody knowing that, look, you're insane if you don't take a meeting with me, because I'm literally showing you how I can help you generate revenue. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
afraid to ask because I believe in my product. And I think that's where it starts for a lot of people is, do you really believe in what you sell? Because if you don't, it's going to show.
Yeah. So to everyone listening, like really keep that in mind. Like, do you actually believe in what you have to offer and what you're selling? Because that could be the roadblock that is getting between you and what you want. And before you even can hire someone like Luke, you've got to get your shit together and have confidence in what it is that you are offering, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of blatantly just putting your shit out there without any real purpose and not driving anyone to anything. And let's face it, like, I'm a purpose driven entrepreneur. I have a very meaningful purpose. I have a mission. There's a legacy I'm creating, but at the same time, this is my business. And I am looking to make money. I am looking to have a purpose that is profitable. And I think a lot of people they just shy away from that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think, I don't remember who said this to me, but they said, if you believe in your product, you'd sell it to your own mom or your dad. I'm like, yeah, well, my mom's an author and I've helped her sell her books. So, I mean, I believe in it. And I think that's the thing where if you say, look, would you sell this to your friends or your siblings or your significant other, and you even like stutter just a little bit, maybe you don't believe in what you sell. But for me, I think one of the things that helped me with my confidence was putting myself out there on social media. So my confidence in selling my product, I always believed in it, but I wasn't confident in selling it because I wasn't confident in myself. Repeatedly putting myself out there, it's like this weird therapy. It's like going to the gym. It makes you better and better and better. If you would watch my videos from early YouTube, I sounded like a redneck from West Virginia because I am from West Virginia. I hated the way I sounded. I wasn't confident. I was really soft-spoken. Now, like, I'm confident. I have this aura that I didn't have before. That came over time, and I think that's something that's super important. You've got to work that muscle before it's going to get strong.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned the YouTube, because I have the exact same track record with my YouTube channel. If you go back, and audience, please don't go back, but if you do, you've been warned. If you go back to like my first few videos, I'm super soft spoken. It literally looks like another Ruby, like someone totally different speaking to the camera in a super passive way, not inviting you to anything, just rambling. And now look at me, zero fucking fucks. Like,
I love it. I love it.
but I feel like you've had that same path. And I think one of the biggest questions, at least I get this a lot, is, how did you become so bold in your messaging and in your delivery? And what you said, Luke, about like just consistently putting yourself out there, that is the answer. Like, it's about putting yourself out there day in and day out, no matter what the engagement. I think a lot of people will do their first few Facebook Lives and they get crickets and then they give up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, am I an expert at what I do? Absolutely. Do I have this massive Cardone, Gary V like following where when I go live, I've got all these fanboys and fangirls? No. We do live streams and private webinars and public webinars where sometimes there's 100 people on.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll do a Facebook Live at a weird time. There'll be 15 people on.
Right.
I don't care about the numbers because I know over time, hundreds and then thousands of people are going to see that. And tell me any other place that I can go online for free and have hundreds or thousands of people see it. And I know that it only takes one. I literally have put content out to where at the time there was 5 people on. One of those people turned into a $100,000 contract. So that those numbers, like, look, we do 6-figure deals off of a live stream on my friend request page.
Wow.
You don't need massive numbers in your live streams like you see some of these big influencers getting in order for it to move the needle for you. You could definitely move the needle with just a few people. And it's a good building block, right? So definitely don't let those smaller numbers discourage you. They will grow, but small is not bad. You need to treat each and every one of those people watching, bring as much value to them as you possibly could. Like, it's a private mastermind. Like, those 3 people paid to be in that room. If you treat them like that, they're going to go tell a friend, or you're going to say, hey, look, for John and Sarah and Sam that are watching, tag one friend that you think this would bring value to. And guess what? 1 or 2 of them will. And now that person's now paying attention. And maybe now they tag somebody. I mean, it all matters.
Yeah, that's a really powerful reframe, to start thinking of it as like a private mastermind.
Yeah.
Because what I've seen happening in the online space is people are forgetting that every single name that pops up is a person. There's a person behind that profile. And if you're just worried about getting thousands of people on your lives or like liking your post, then you're missing out on that one person who did show up, and that one person who could eventually become your biggest client or your biggest sale or your biggest, whatever it is. Like, you're missing out. Yeah. And this is social media. I've said this time and time again. The purpose of social media is to engage.
It is, for sure.
A lot of people treat it like a one-way street.
What's crazy to me too, that I think this might reframe some thoughts. It's so disrespectful when you think about it. When you're brand new and you're going live and you're pissed off that you don't got the same numbers as Lewis Howes, Gary V, like, fuck, they started with 1 follower. It's just what they did, and they were consistent, and they put value out. They worked hard to get that. You are not going to come online with, no authority, and you're brand new to this and get those same numbers. You've got to start somewhere, but you've got to give each and every one of those people every single thing you have, and then it's going to grow. And some things you can do to amplify that and speed up the process is start to utilize targeted social media, not a boost post. That's not targeted social media, true Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ad, to get exposure in the circles that matter most to you. If you're going after single mothers because that's your product, or you're going after guys that love fitness, whatever, you can target those folks and introduce your brand to somebody that didn't know you yesterday and now they're a raving fan. So there are definitely ways to grow the funnel.
Yeah. And that's really important to keep in mind when, especially those who are just starting out or those who are now reconsidering how they're utilizing social media. So, how about we flip to this? How about we flip to, for our listeners, I'm sure that they're like now dying for some tools that they can begin integrating immediately to start turning their attention into dollars, or even like start gaining the right attention. what's a great place for them to begin?
Yeah. So anytime you're spending money on social media advertising, the first place you have to begin is knowing exactly what the end result is going to be, right? It can't just be, we're going to start spending $20 a day or $1,000 a day on Facebook ads. Okay, but what do you need at the end of the road in order for it to be worth it? Meaning, if I sell cell phone cases at the end of the road and I sell them online, I need sales. I need real conversions. Everybody's in business to generate sales, but I can't generate sales off of Facebook. I need to generate a lead, a name, phone number, and an email so that I can set up a meeting and then sell them on that call. So if I'm spending thousands of dollars, someone like myself or like you, that you sell a service, your end goal you need to know that, okay, I'm going for leads. So if I spend $1,000, I need to get a certain amount of leads out of that. Then you go back to the beginning. Now we know what our end goal is. And where you need to start is knowing that your first step, your first phase is the attention. It's the awareness phase. You got to get the right people paying attention to your content. And by content, I mean video, right? So after you run your first video ad, you know exactly how many people watched 50 to 100% of that video. You move those folks into phase number 2. That's the traffic and conversion phase. So now the people that watched 50 to 100% of my first video, I'm going to hit them with another ad. And that ad is going to have some type of a call to action that sends them to where I want them to go, which is my website, right? Phase number 3 is knowing that 70% of the people that visit your site are not going to do anything the first time except leave.
Yeah.
So you're banking on all of this, and 70% of the people that visit your thing are going to leave. Most people don't have a plan for that. That plan is called remarketing. So phase number 3 is remarket to those people that visited your site but did not convert. That gets them back, and that's what gets the numbers moving. So you have an event coming up. It's the same thing. So Ruby, your goal is sales. You got to know that you got to get the attention. Then you're going to drive the people that paid attention to your site and know that 70% of that traffic isn't going to convert on number 1. So we got to remarket and get them to come back. So there's all these steps. The reason most people fail is they have one step. I launch an ad. And I'm rambling. When do I get to the point? Do I have a call to action? And then they're like, well, it didn't fucking work. Well, you did go into the gym because you didn't eat healthy. You didn't do the right workouts. You went 3 times and then gave up. So you got to have those phases: attention, traffic, remarketing, and then that's when the conversions come into play.
That's so important because, you're right. Most people just throw an ad out there and they put money to an ad or they boost something. And then when it doesn't deliver the results that they really want, or it doesn't deliver results, period, they get upset and then they give up on the Facebook ads, or whatever social media ads that they're doing. But it's like, there is a way to do it to make it work for you. And I think a lot of people get stuck in the cycle of they're trying to make the ad work when you need to focus on making the ad work for you. And I love the way that you broke it up because it makes sense, right? Like, especially when, let's use my event as an example. So we have something to really, something tangible to hold on to here. So most people, if I were to just throw an ad on it, some of it, I don't target it, I'm not specific or anything, I'm going to get a lot of maybe new eyes on it, which some people might consider a win. But for me, those new eyes are really meeting me for the first time. How can I expect someone to meet me online for the first time to invest in a ticket to my event?
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah. So so I use the analogy that I think would work well with this audience. Some people get pissed off because they're very conservative about it.
Oh, we're not conservative here.
Exactly. So it's the same thing as dating, right? I go to a bar, I see somebody, let's say it's the first time I'm married, so it's the first time I meet my wife. Obviously, the first time I saw her, I thought she was attractive. That's the first thing that caught my attention. I didn't wink at her, walk over and say, hey, my name's Luke. Would you like to get married?
Right.
That's the same thing as you saying, these people that are going to buy a premium ticket to my event, they just saw me. You got their attention, but now you did the wrong thing. So like, I'm going to get slapped. I'm not going to get another shot at it. Most of the time, that's what happens with the ads. You get one shot at it, and now you've ruined it. So what can you do to get their attention and then get them to like you, get them to know you, get them to trust you? Then you ask them out on a date. Maybe that's, hey, watch this one session from last year's event. That's the first day. The people that watched 50 to 100% of that video, now you remarket to them and you ask them to marry you, right? And that's, hey, look, it's time to invest. This is what life is going to look like after you leave this event if you implement what we teach you. Now's the time to take action. The way you're going to do that is by clicking on this, going and securing your seat. And you need to do it now if you're this person. Those are going to be the folks that convert. So you took that same person that saw that first ad, but you kind of walked them through that process we talked about earlier. And now they know you, like you, trust you, and they want more. And you show them how to get that more.
So good. I highly recommend for those of you, if you're driving while listening to this, you may want to re-listen to this because Luke just gave a ton of tips. And of course, we're also going to have those on here that are listening that are completely fucking overwhelmed by everything that you just said and are probably like, oh, fuck, I've been doing this wrong. To those of you who feel that way, my recommendation is contact Luke. He'll take care of you. Because, there's no point in stressing out on something if it's like so outside your expertise. Like, have an expert do this for you. And just know that there is a difference. Like, there's so many I feel like there's so many Facebook ad marketers out there. And a lot of them don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of them are just taking your money and throwing it at an ad and trying to boost your following versus like actually create a conversion. And like, if I'm investing in an ad, I want it to convert. I don't care if it brings me more followers or it brings more attention to my page. What matters is conversions.
Yeah, 100%. The easiest way and look, 99% of the people that are Facebook marketers, quote unquote, they don't know what they're doing because there are people like Ty Lopez that he's a fucking genius. But look at what Ty Lopez is doing. Hey, do you live in your mom's basement? You don't have a job? The easiest way to make money is to start a Facebook ad agency. Take my course. So now you got this kid taking this fucking course that cost him $1,000, and now he's a guru and he's taking your money. The easiest way to tell, like I tell people, like, look, I know that I am what you need and I can help you because look at my business. The only thing I've ever done is what I'm pitching to you. I am an expert because I do this to grow my own business. So ask the person, right? TV stations, radio stations, newspaper companies, they're all doing this now because you're buying less radio ads. So they're going to sell you what they think you want. Ask them how much they use it for their own business. They're not going to be able to tell you. So just simply ask, do you use this for yourself? Right? If you sell a Maserati, you probably should drive a Maserati, not a Honda Civic.
Right.
That's the easiest way to weed out the people that aren't good.
Yeah. And also, what Luke just demonstrated is that level of confidence that you need in your products and services in order to like really sell it and do it in an effective way. Because there's no point in being shy about what you have to offer if you know it works and you know it delivers results. So thanks for demonstrating that, Luke.
I think it just comes like, look, if somebody asks for me to submit an RFP, that means request for proposal, meaning we're cheap as shit and we want to look for the lowest price.
Right.
If somebody says, look, we're getting some quotes, I'm respectful about it, but I tell them, like, look, we don't do RFPs. Like, if you're looking for a bargain, I can tell you right now, we're probably not going to be the right fit. We might be the most expensive. If you're looking for results, we will get those for you. I'm not going to say that if I'm not confident with my products. So I do think, even though it's not on the whole marketing topic, I do think you've got to come with that type of confidence or vibrato because that's what gets my attention. And I know that's what I use to get others' attention because I'm not going to blatantly lie to your face if I don't think I can get you a result. I'm not going to speak the way I do. And I think that does go a long way.
Yeah, it really, really does. Luke, we are coming up to the end of this episode, and I'm wondering if you have any last nuggets of wisdom or a love punch that you would love to leave our audience today.
Yeah, I think it's the title of my podcast. It's what we talked about today. It's the one of the core values or what we tell our clients we're all about. And it's attention equals dollars, attention equals revenue. And what that means is you have to, it's not a question of, well, I built my business this way 20 years ago. Do I really need to, or I'm getting started? Is it mandatory? You have to get attention. If people don't know who you are, you're going to lose the opportunity of earning their business. And what sucks is the person that's not as good as you, but puts their shit on social media is going to get that opportunity over you. So the BS excuses of, which I know this is where you're great at helping people. Yeah. I sound weird. I don't like the way I look. I'm nervous. What do I say? Those are excuses, and you have to get past those. Beyond that, you've got to have a strategy. If you just simply boost a Facebook post or run a Facebook ad because you're just checking the box of, well, I'm doing Facebook ads, you will lose, and you might as well go spend your money in a bar or at Disneyland or something else, because you're not going to get any ROI. You have to
Right.
have a strategy and a plan in mind, or you will, no doubt, you will lose money.
Yeah.
So attention equals dollars, and you've got to have a plan to get to that revenue point. But what I'm telling you is it is possible. I'm proof, and our clients are proof, whether you use us or somebody else or you do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sales generation machine. It's just taking action and utilizing what you're teaching people and making it happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So if you're one of those people that has the excuses, come see me first. If
Yes.
you've fucking worked through your excuses, next step is Luke. How's that?
That's the beautiful thing. I think people will probably see me and your audience and my audience. They'll see you more often because, I mean, look, I'm writing a book called Killing Modesty, but beyond that, like I don't know what to say to the people that just don't want to take action. And that's where you're amazing at it. Right. But at the same time, I can't help the person that wants to spend $100,000 a month. If they don't want to post one fucking thing on Facebook
Right.
on what I'm running with their ads, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
I think it's important to know, like, you're not going to be able to outspend the person that pushes as hard as they can and spends a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you help people. So we'll definitely be doing some really cool things together, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And I'm super excited also, everyone, to announce that Luke is now the latest addition to Amplified Soul Live 2019, which takes place February in Los Angeles. The link to secure your tickets for that is going to be in the show notes. It's rubyfirmon.com/ASL. And Luke is going to be there to give a presentation about, killing modesty and how to really convert attention into dollars. So if you like what you heard today, just wait until you see him in person. And I'm especially excited because we get to jam live in person. And the beauty of that is we'll be answering questions live and people get to work with us live. So it's going to be an incredible event. So come buy your ticket.
No excuse to not be there. I'm super excited to get off the cold East Coast and to come hang out with all of you all in LA. And number two, yeah, it's going to be awesome. I know that room's going to be filled with people that are ready to kick ass. And I know I've seen the other folks you have speaking, seen what you're doing, and I'm really pumped to bring my end of the value to this event as well. So it's going to be awesome.
Amazing. Well, Luke, why don't you tell our audience where they can find you, stalk you online?
Yeah, so the two platforms that I'm on the most, Facebook, Luke Nesler, Nesler. I'm sure it'll be in the description.
Yeah.
Find me on Facebook. Instagram, it's Luke Nesler CEO. I put a lot of really good stuff on there. Look at what I do even more so than I say. Look at how much I go live on Facebook. Look at how I utilize Instagram stories and how I utilize the Instagram feed. Follow those. And then we do have a free training. It's freeimatraining.com. I think that's a good place to start, and it'll give you some really good nuggets. And we actually teach you some shit on there. It's not an hour long. It's short. It's sweet. And we actually show you some real things on there about how to get attention and turn it into a tangible result. I think that's a good starting point. And look, I'm not a lawyer, so you don't have to worry about asking me questions and getting an invoice in the mail. If you're listening to this and you have a question, send me a private message. I will definitely get back to you and see what I can do to help you.
That is awesome. I'm going to put the free training link and all of Luke's other links in the show notes. Luke, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Punch. Please make sure you go check out Amplified Soul Live. The link is in the show notes, rubyfreeman.com/ASL, February 22nd to the 24th in Los Angeles. Be sure to drop a rating and review on iTunes. And if you have any questions for myself or for Luke, please reach out to us on social media. My social media handle is @IamRuby. This episode was sponsored by the Mayfair Hotel and Eve American Bistro. I will see you here next week for a brand new episode of Love Punch.